Bitcoin up big this morning. We've got Bitfarms reporting their earnings this morning as well. Later this afternoon, we've got Bit Digital. I'll cover that in another video, as well as core CPI. CPI came out today. We've got home builder confidence coming in very shortly. We've got Tom Barkin, Richmond Fed president, on the mic here in about 20 minutes. And then we've also got later in the day Kashkari and Bowman, two hawks, and Barkin being a centrist from the Fed speaking today. So expect volatility today. So first of all, let's take a look at the CPI. That came in actually less than expected for April, came in a little bit lower, so it's slowing down. You can see it came in at 0.3%, and the year over year lowered to 3.4% from 3.5%. So it's moving in the right direction, the direction that the Fed wants it to be moving. And as a result, we're seeing some big up moves in a lot of risk on assets like Bitcoin today. So that's the big news for the day, is that we've got core CPI softening, but keep your eyes out for those Feds. They like to use the microphone. It's one of their new favorite tools in order to make the market do what they want without having to actually enact any policy. So keep your eyes out for that. There's going to be 3 different Feds on the mic today, one at 7 a.m., one at noon, and another one at 3:20 p.m. So it's going to be lots of volatility today. There's a lot of news coming out. So let's get into Bitcoin. Bitcoin is playing out this head and shoulders right here. It's getting above the neckline right now at 64,576. It is currently above that neckline. If we can hold there for the day and close above this area and stay there for the next 2 days, 3 days, like to the end of the week, if we can stay above 64,537 for the remainder of the week, we're coming back to the top of this channel. I mean, we're going to test. No, yeah, that would be Monday. Yeah, we're testing the top of the channel. If we can hold up above 64,500 for the next couple of days through the end of this week, we are very likely going to come and test the top of this channel, possibly even come and test $70,000 again off of this formation here on Bitcoin. So this is bullish. This is great, as long as some new piece of news doesn't come in and completely obliterate this pattern here. It looks like we're ready to go back up to $70,000 real fast here. So that's very exciting. And that brings me into my next point. Bitfarms earnings were not good. It came in minus 11% on earnings per share and minus 1% on revenue. I was really hoping to see this come in at least a little bit positive, but you can see that they are benefiting from Bitcoin being up today. Also, the fact that they are still moving with Bitcoin, despite the fact that they had that really bad news on Monday, shows that this reaction was a knee-jerk reaction and was too intense, and the market has decided that that move was too much. Now, if Bitcoin holds where it currently is and Bitfarms can stay in that momentum that it's currently getting out of it, this looks like it could end up being an island reversal. Despite any bad news coming through, despite bad earnings, as long as Bitcoin chugs upward, we may be seeing Bitfarms follow, showing that, I mean, it's up 6.83% right now. That's more than Bitcoin is up off of bad earnings. So that clearly shows that that CEO fiasco that they've got going on right now is actually overreacted to by the market, given today's movement. So this is actually a really good sign right now for Bitfarms. I'm not upset about this at all. Now, the candle that's currently forming, I'm not absolutely in love with. I would like it to get a bit of a larger blue body here, maybe even take out some of this wick up here. But it's not so terrible. Now, let's see, where did we actually open today in comparison to yesterday? We actually opened today 16% above yesterday, and we kind of floated down to being only up 6%, and that's off of a arguably pretty bad earnings report. So that's not terrible. Bitfarms looking decent, honestly, looking decent. We're in a chop zone right now between 170 and 181. We need to get above that 181. Realistically, we need to get above 188 before we're really back in this game and have a chance to go back up to $2 on Bitfarms. Once we're above $2, though, the game is on, and we're going to very quickly start moving up higher and higher on this thing, especially once we break this trend line right here. Let me grab this one. Is it this one? Do I want to do this one? I guess I could, but I don't like that one as much. Let's do from here. Once we break this trend line here, we're going to have a really good time. Notice how it came right up to it and rejected. Ooh, I don't like what the candle's doing right now. We'll come back to that and check it later today. Honestly, we'll come back and check it when Bit Digital has reported their earnings. That's going to be this afternoon. We're going to see what Bit Digital is. Now, I'm thinking Bit Digital might actually end up being profitable, and I think that because they've got multiple revenue streams, it's not just Bitcoin, it's not just their HODL. So they've got their HODL, but they've also got Ethereum. They've also got an AI side business generating tangible revenue. So we may see this come out green. It comes out green. I think we get a nice little pop off of Bit Digital. They're actually coming in down today, which is interesting considering Bitfarms is up 4.66%, actually right in alignment with Bitcoin. And this one's actually trading flat today. So that's interesting. I guess the market is holding its breath for the earnings report on Bit Digital today, which I will try to come back to either this afternoon if I have the time. If not, it'll have to be tomorrow morning. Then I come back and talk about Bit Digital's earnings and see where they go from here. I am looking here right on the chart. I want to see actually Bit Digital get above this line right here, 234. I really want to see it above 234 right now, because once we get above 234, there's kind of an open, it's a big open space for the most part above, above 234 to 255, but realistically, but 234 seems to be a pretty intense shelf that it keeps coming up to right now. Once we get above that and break that, it looks like $3 is in the cards. Let's take a look at the SMAs and see where those are currently lying for the daily on Bit Digital. Yeah, it's got to get up to 260. So above this, we're going to come to the 200, which isn't bad. We're currently above the 5, the 20, and the 50, and we really just have the 200 above us still. We'll test it one more time. Hopefully, we'll break through it this time. Maybe these good earnings will send us above this 200 and send us into a nice bull run on Bit Digital. Let's take a look at Clean Spark. How is Clean Spark doing today? Plus 3.78%. That's not bad. Not bad at all, actually. We are above this green line. Can't remember why I put that there. Must have been on a lower time frame. No, okay, it's these three candles. I see we're trading above that now. That's good. Short term anyways. Let's see what's on the smaller time frames here. Smaller time frames. Oh, I can see. Okay, I touched it a couple of times and it came up, and now we're just drifting above it now, which isn't great because this is an ascending channel. And if you remember, ascending channels tend to like to break to the downside. So if we get beneath this line, we're likely coming right back down to $15. So this actually isn't all that great. I'm going to go ahead and delete this green line actually. I'll delete this too. Doesn't matter. It might just come right back to the 15, considering we went to the 200 and it rejected pretty hard. So we'll keep our eyes on that. I'm not convinced that CleanSpark is done with that $15 range quite yet, especially considering we are now back below the 5-day again. Didn't even get up to the 20-day. That sucks a little bit. I don't think we're done with the $15 range quite yet on CleanSpark. Let's take a look at Mara. What's going on with Mara? Mara is up 1%. Okay, not bad, not the worst. We're still getting just trapped right between the 20 and the 50 on Mara. We really need to see this thing get above the 50. Once we're above the 50, then we're going to be doing some really amazing things with Marathon Digital. Until we get above the 50, though, realistically, we could come back down and test the 200 at $16.16. We got to get above the 50 SMA, which is at currently $18.21. Then above 1980. Once we're above 1980, the high 20s are back within reach after we do that. Let's take a look at RIOT. What's going on with RIOT today? RIOT is plus 0.87%. Not terrible, not great. We have broken out of this. No, we haven't broken out of it. We're still kind of almost touching it. We're almost touching it. We're just so close to it. We're very, very close to a breakout of this descending channel. That doesn't mean that we're just going to take off and go running from here. We still need to conquer the 20 SMA at $10.39, the 50 SMA at $10.78, and the 200-day SMA up here at $12.08 before we're really cooking. But just getting out of this aggressive descending channel is a good starting point. So bravo, RIOT, you are moving in the right direction. That's what I like to see. Let's see what's going on with the warrants today. CIFR warrants, if I could spell correctly, that might help. Okay. CIFR warrants down 0.88%. I don't love that. That's not great. We're kind of just trading flat right here, right now, in between these two trend lines, kind of deciding what it wants to do. It looks like it might be leaning towards the downside on this thing. We'll see. We'll see. If it does, it'll likely come back down to $1. At $1, I might pick up a few more shares for that upswing back up to 120, 130, maybe 140. We'll see what happens with that. I'm not too concerned. Let's see what the underlying is looking like on CIFR. CIFR, it's not great actually. It's plus 2.43%, but we're getting trapped between the 20 and 50, which seem to be converging here at $4.07, which does look like it kind of wants to push us towards the 200, which is all the way down at 336, which we've tapped once and twice, nearly 3 times. We could potentially break beneath that if things go bad. We'll see. But Bitcoin is up. Bitcoin is up, so it should be doing well. That's all I wanted to look at for the miners right now. Let's look at MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy up 5.19% today. Not really the double digits in terms of being doubling of Bitcoin like I usually like to see from them, but an upward move all the same. We are above this little channel that I've got here. We're above the upper level on that, which was $13 or $1,345. We're currently at $1,365. The 50-day SMA is a bit of a thorn in our side right now at 1424. We do need to get above that, but getting out of this channel here is actually really good, and that is a good sign that we might actually have a chance at breaking that 50 if we get a little more momentum out of Bitcoin. So this is good. Also, inverse head and shoulders, just like on Bitcoin, we've got, and we're currently above the neckline on that inverse head and shoulders, which was this green line here pretty much. It's actually a little bit beneath that green line, but we're not going to split hairs on that. But we had the left shoulder over here in April, and then early May, the head, and we currently just had the shoulder form, and we are above the neckline right now. On that, if we can hold it through the end of the week, you better believe that we are looking at coming right back up to that $1,500 range, maybe even higher on MicroStrategy. Likely about 1,600 is what I'd be saying would be the maximum move on this inverse head and shoulders right now. Well, not the maximum move, but a good mid-level move would be about 1,600. Maximum move, I'd say, is probably to the swing high, which is actually at 1741 on MicroStrategy. Let's take a real quick look now at what's going on with Block. Block also up only 2% though, so they're not getting as much of a benefit of the doubt. Notice how my line here, $73.66, is performing very well as resistance here for our price movement. So that's not a great thing going on here. We are above the 20 and the 5 though, so the next step would be to go up to the 50 here at 76.76. But I do need to see it get above 73.66 before I am feeling bullish about the movement on this particular stock. So that's all I've got for you in general today. Let's take a look at Tesla real quick. I've been checking Tesla every day. If you follow, you know I've been day trading this thing and winning pretty consistently lately. It's really good. I actually looked at my win rate yesterday, and I was actually pretty happy about that. I'm not going to talk about it right now, but let's see if there's anything of value it's going to show us. Okay, so what are we looking at here? This thing could go a little lower. So what am I looking at here? So I am actually looking for this to do a little pullback and then make a move for about right here, 172.19. That's what I'm looking for. It is coming up on the 5-minute here. I'm looking for it to make some sort of channel, something like this for a little while, maybe like that, maybe come up somewhere around like here-ish. That's where I'd be looking to enter. I'd be doing my stop loss. Honestly, my stop loss is going to be top of this candle right there. If it goes up there, it's going to go way past that. It's likely going to come all the way up to like maybe this red line here, honestly. So I'd be cutting it, waiting for it to see if it's going to come here or go, maybe even go all the way to the top of the SMA range, which would be all the way up at 178. But by then, all my money would be lost. So I don't want to wait that long to cut. And I'd be looking for a break of this channel. Once we'll see if it actually forms in that channel or if it makes a steeper one. We'll see. I'd be looking for it to break the channel, possibly enter after the break, or if it gets up to here and starts showing like it wants to turn around, then I'd be looking for it to come down to there. Again, of course, in this case, my orange line would be like right there if it goes to my white line. And so I'd be looking to enter around white if it showed a reversal or a continuation pattern, I should say. Red would be where I would cut at 176 after an entry at 175 if possible, or on the break, wherever the break of the channel would be, could be anywhere between 175 and like 174. I'd be looking to take profit around orange if things showed weakness, or around 172, honestly, 172, because it's going to act like a magnet once it gets down there at 172. That's close enough on the way down if it were to do that. So I'll be watching that here now that this video is done. I'm going to bring this up and kind of watch this like a hawk and see if a trade comes into play here. So that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a profitable day.